Hello and welcome back to Football Kentron, the only English language podcast dedicated to Armenian football. I am your host Aram, and I am joined here today by Charens and Arben. How are you two gentlemen doing?
Ask Edo.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed and ask Edo. Edo's doing great. Edo's currently playing.
There's so much. Good, bad. Oof.
Yeah, good and bad, definitely. Okay, so as usual, we have a lot to get through, so we are going to be starting in the Armenian Premier League. APL resumed, and it has been resumed for the past couple weeks now, and Ararat Armenia are still on top of the league with 50 points. They have only lost 2 games this season, but they haven't been the same. They were a very much free-scoring side in the first half of the season, and they haven't been able to score as many goals since the restart. Only 3 points behind them is a Punic side that is looking like they're only getting better and better as the season progresses. They're currently on a 6-game undefeated streak, including a 1-0 win over Ararat Armenia. So Punic have a real chance here to win the title. Boys, it's a 2-horse race at this point. The gap between Punic and third place Ararat Yerevan is pretty sizable. Who is going to win this league? Ararat or Punic?
Huh. That's a tricky one. I mean, I would say they're both equally strong, but if you look at Punic's form, it's way better than Ararat's, Ararat Armenia, of course. And they both have pretty strong arguments, in my opinion. I'm watching every game of both of those clubs.
It's a very, very interesting one. Early on in the season, it seemed like Ararat Armenia was going to run away with it, right? It looked very like they were 17 points ahead or something at one point. They had 13 points. Yeah, huge gap.
And then they started dropping points.
Well, they haven't dropped many, but I think the points that they've dropped have been ones that were crucial. Like against Punic, they lost against Punic. If they had won that game, there would be a 6-point gap, or a 9-point gap actually, in between them right now, which is a lot bigger than a 3-point gap. So it really makes a big difference. So, and I think they drew a game to Bekma early on in the season, which, very few clubs have drawn to them. So it's a little bit of an odd one. In third place, as I had mentioned, is Ararat Yerevan. They're still very much showing signs of slowing down and this inevitable decline that we've been talking about since the departure of their manager and a couple of key players. They've only managed to have 1 win in their last 4 matches, and they're not doing so hot. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, Alashkert is creeping up on them, currently only, 7 points behind them, but they do have a game in hand. So Alashkert is slowly closing up that gap. And
something we don't like.
Yeah, we don't. There's many reasons to dislike Alashkert.
I don't like.
FC Noah are underperforming big time. I mean, they have no win in the last 5 games. They have no distinct style of play, and their only real standout is their new signing Mkhitaryan, but he's been playing at central defense when he's actually more of a defensive midfielder. Not to mention,
and even then he's one of our best field players out of position and all, and newcomer. There's a lot of things to analyze.
Yeah, and defensively speaking, Noah is solid. Like, they're not doing overall. They're at a -2 goal difference, but since the restart, they haven't conceded more than 1 goal in each game. They're just not scoring. Like they have not. Their attack has not been clicking, and it's really been hurting them. But on the defensive end, with Mkhitaryan, Kardashian, Jordi Ararat, and Matevosyan in between the sticks, they've been doing really solid defensive work.
Yeah,
just not
Kardashian, bro. Kardashian, it's annoying that to see him being played out of position because, as I told you guys on the group chat, he's 1 meter and 90 centimeters tall, which is super tall. He's center back tall, and he's been playing left back for some reason. Chan seems to have a good argument, a theory as to that why that may be, but it's annoying to see him get wasted like that, and I hate to see these things, like when it reminds me of when I saw Edo Spertian being played at either 5 or 9 at the national team. It's out of position, and for such a talent, you don't want to see that. Side note, Matevosian, oh my God,
We'll get into him a little bit more.
what a goalie.
Below Noah is Urartu with 22 points, 2 points behind. They're undefeated in 5, which is a positive. The negative is only 1 win, and the rest are draws. They're another
I'd say
club.
the same problem with Noah.
But this has been in terms of Urartu, this has been a problem that we've touched on previously before. They're the fact that they can't score, and I think I think it comes down to their style of play. I just don't think I don't think Armenian has them playing in a style. He just has them playing, and I think that's the problem.
Well, Armenian is, to be fair, he was a center back, so yeah, on the one hand there's that, and on the second hand, if you look at their personnel, they're over the last few seasons even, their 3 attacking stars were Artur Miranian, Karen Melkonian, and Narek Grigorian. The 2 first have been getting on and off with injuries, even currently recovering and not really fit. And the last has been loaned out to Poland. So that explains an even worse form when it comes to attack for Radu.
Yeah, precisely. Behind Urartu, and near the bottom of the table now, is Von and Noravang. They continue to tussle between 7th and 8th place. And bottom of the table is Bekma, who, despite being bottom, has actually only 1 loss in the last 5 matches, like Urartu. They're slowly but surely finding their feet and their form. And I personally still back them to get out of relegation and stay in. I think they'll do it. I think they'll start picking up the wins very soon. Especially considering their new signings. Galajan from Alashkeft, solid center back. I think they're going to do good things.
Gurjan.
Yeah, Gurjan. There you go. Sorry, I said Galajan.
They're both named Artem. They're both Lokomotiv Academy. They're both talented. So yeah, it makes sense to mix up the names.
Well, that wraps it up for the Armenian Premier League segment of the show. Be sure to watch all the games on YouTube while they are still being live streamed. We don't know if that's going to be the case next season, but the league is getting really good. Ararat play Noah next, which is going to be an interesting matchup, and Urartu and Bekma face off. These are the 2 teams that have similar forms right now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. Now, on to our favorite segment, I would say, Armenians abroad. Armen, Sakomania, what's going on with our boy Adamian?
He can't stop scoring. I mean, Sarkis Adamian, what a striker. As I say, he has been getting a lot of heat at the national team for not delivering as what was expected of him, but that's unjustified in my opinion because of the way we play and because of the work rate Sarkis brings to the national team, which goes unnoticed. But in Bruges, when it comes to the club level, that doesn't go unnoticed because he keeps scoring and has already convinced the club, one of the best clubs in Belgium, by the way, to buy him out of Hoffenheim, which is where he belongs, where the owners of his transfer. The Bundesliga side, Hoffenheim has reportedly agreed to the buyout clause, and set the price tag at currently 3 million euros. Bruges have now 3 months to allocate the money. Let's see how that goes. They're probably gonna find it because they're not a poor club by any standards. And overall, Sacco, listen to this. Sacco has 4 goals in 315 minutes on over 6 games played for the Belgian league. This is league, of course. Those numbers mean that the goal coefficient is at 1 goal per every 18 minutes. That's more than a goal per game guaranteed. That's insane.
And he really showed his attacking versatility, I think, in the game yesterday. Both of his goals were him capitalizing on errors, and it worked out in his favor. So I think
smart positioning,
yeah, I think it's safe to say, I think he, during our World Cup qualifying campaign, in terms of confidence, was probably at the lowest he had ever been in his career. I really, really back him to do very, very good things for us in this next year and 2 years.
If I were to break down Sacco's last 2 years for the national team, I would say that they kind of go hand in hand with the overall collective performance, because he has gone through a lot of, and I'm sorry for the word, a lot of personal shit, when it comes to his everyday life, which we don't want to get into, and things he didn't deserve, And when that came to the national team in the second semester of 2020, I'm sorry, when we won UEFA Nations League C, he even scored maybe the most decisive goal against Georgia, memorable actually, and helped, of course, with winning the other games. And the first semester of 2021, when we kept that momentum going and won that 3-game window against Iceland, Romania, and of course Liechtenstein, Sacco was actually one of the best players. He didn't score, I think, but he was undoubtedly one of the best players. But hey, many people know better than us, and they went at him because he didn't score. But did we win those games or not?
There's a reason why Cap plays him every game.
Exactly.
and he's not wrong most of the time.
So now it can only get better now that he has actual form.
I agree. I'm really excited to see what we're going to put together in the Nations League, but we will talk about that soon.
Yeah. For him, I felt really bad for Sacco, because he's one of those, not only because we had striker problems, but him as a player, to be playing in the Bundesliga at the time. Now he's in Belgium. It was nice. It would have been nice for him to score goals for us.
Yeah, I think he's worked hard his whole career to get to the Bundesliga, and it sucks that a managerial change took a lot of that away from him.
Yeah.
But again,
and even under the new manager, even after Henrikh took charge, he went on to keep that same form he had, which for the whole season. Only after that he started to lag a little bit, and that being out of favor kind of got to him.
Yeah, a quality player is always going to show his quality, and he still did with the small cameos he was making for Hoffenheim.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He still showed all of his qualities. So, and it's, of course, it takes a good manager like Schroeder. I do personally think Schroeder's a good manager. He took Hoffenheim to really good heights, and it takes a good manager to be able to see that. And of course, it's a good thing that they have a very good relationship. So it's working out for them. Chadens, what is going on in Poland land?
A lot of things from our boys. I think we confirmed it last time on the episode, or it was that day that he signed, or it was close. Narek Grigorian, he moved to. Okay, I hope I can pronounce this well. Jagiellonia. the loan has an option to buy. He already made his debut. He's playing every game after the break off the bench. He's showing good passing. He's showing good dribbling, and he's looking consistent. And that is what we usually need as Armenians and Armenian players: consistency. So this is on one end. On the other end, Urartu is missing a key component of their attack.
Yeah, just like we touched on earlier. But of course, considering the current state of Armenian football, we would probably, have the slight preference for individual players getting, better and better. So he played another 45 minutes.
And interestingly enough, Urartu is something I noticed lately. They're actually bringing, like they always do, but now the time has come for the new generation, the new year of players to come off the academy. They brought
step up.
Yeah, they brought like 4 new starters into the team and another 4 into the bench. So it will take time for those 8 to 10 youngins to adapt and adjust to the APL, but damn, those numbers are nice. 10 new guys.
It's not obviously it's not based on one player. The reason why a team may not be performing, let's say. However, he's definitely a crucial player.
He definitely was, and I see them kind of like Ararat Yerevan. They're trying to cut their losses and pull back and try to do their thing. Play how they play, how they're more comfortable as a club philosophy, and hope they can find some form soon because they're both good teams. But speaking of young players, we are not only about academies in Armenia. We have more exports, so to speak. We are talking about actually Football Kentron future star Armen Hovhannisyan and teammate from FCAA Armenia, David Nalbandian, 22-year-olds, actually, both of them, that joined Moldavian giants FC Zimru Kishinev, as we told you guys last time out. Thing is, Zimru are looking kind of to mirror Sheriff Tiraspol's success in Europe, as most of you football fans know. So they've signed around a dozen new international players coming from all sorts of competitions, including our 2 young talents. Now, these 2 players come from FCAA. Actually, David Nalbandian being on loan at FC Van, who was their starting 10. And Armen, of course, is a great number 9. Both have made their debut on the first game after the break. Actually, much like Narek Grigorian in Poland. And while David played 25 minutes off the bench, didn't look off tune, looked good actually. We talked to Moldavian football pundits and podcasts and stuff. They told us both of them played good. But it only took a couple of touches for Football Kentron future star Armen to open his tab in Moldova with a great run, and I liked this kid so much. I saw this replay, the goal. It was very much his style. 1-on-1, run until the keeper comes your way. He waits for him. He finishes off to the cross post. A clinical finish with all that it means for us that we are lacking such a clinical finisher. He's young, he's tall, he's fast. He is clinical, all right. This, for both of them, is a great move considering the Moldovan league feats leagues like Romania, the Czech Republic, Russia, year in, year out. I think we've touched upon this previously, haven't we? It's kind of a transitional league.
Yeah, it is. And hopefully they can just make the short-term impact that we're looking for them to make and transition out of. I mean, I'm not saying this league isn't the best league, but it's, we know that they can do better. So we're hoping to see that.
It's where they can excel, because they were clearly underestimated at FCAA.
Very true. Speaking of excelling, Slovakia is a place that a lot of our players seem to excel. Challenge, what's going on over there?
The name I mentioned right before the call. Diko has 2 assists in 2 games for his new club, Slovan Bratislava. One was against Žilina, which is Vahan's former club, where he was excelling. And the other team is Rosenborg, which is a team where an ex-national team former player left back, Gagik Kardashian, used to play. Slovan are currently top of the league, looking to get the only Champions League spot wrapped up. And we can also move on to the next news, the good news, which we've been hoping for probably the past 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks or 10 days? Felix is recovering from injury and he's back in training. He posted some Instagram photos looking up and ready with his awesome gloves.
Felix Ferahian, by the way, for the audience that maybe doesn't know him as personally as we do.
That's Felix. Why we call him Felix without a surname.
He's our buddy by now. He's our good buddy. Speaking of buddies, Aram, what's going on over your neck of the woods, as you usually say?
Yeah.
In the MLS.
America the Brave.
And Onman wrote this. El Chino on fire. That's Lucas Zellaran's nickname, El Chino. We're not going to get into the origins of that nickname. But the MLS is back in action, and over 2 games, Lucas Zellaran has achieved a total of 4 goals and 1 assist, getting 2 match MVPs and being in the MLS Team of the Week twice already. He has a goal contribution of 1 goal or assist every 54 minutes so far this season. Here is a stat attack brought to you by Bryant and Me podcast, because everything in America has to be sponsored. The Columbus Crew have points in 18 of the 20 matches where Lucas has assisted or scored a goal. That means every time Lucas has scored a goal, they've won or they've gotten a point 18 of 20 times. That breaks down to 15 wins and 3 draws. So if Lucas is making a goal contribution, Columbus is winning or drawing, and he is contributing a lot. So Columbus, naturally, winning a lot.
I just saw that Lucas has literally scored over the last 6 games they've played, official games.
Mm-hmm. We'll get
that's form.
That's form, but he's also class. That's something that he brings, and we'll talk about a little further when we get into the national team segment.
Give him the ball, he scored.
Pretty much, just give him the ball, he'll score from anywhere. We're going to stay in MLS because 20-year-old offensive midfielder and Football Kentron future star Daron Iskandarian has reportedly signed with the soon-to-be MLS side Las Vegas Lights from Barcelona Academy AZ. If you recall, Bruce El Mesmeri just signed for LAFC from Las Vegas. The same with Danny Moskovsky, who is an American-born North Macedonian striker who made the jump from Las Vegas to LAFC.
And of course, El Mesmeri is Armenian, by the way.
Yeah, that's why we mentioned him. But here's the interesting thing.
But Moskovsky isn't.
I know Moskovsky, but we play against Macedonians so much, I feel the need to talk about them.
They're second-hand Armenians by now.
By now, yeah. And so here's the interesting thing.
No, you shouldn't have said that.
Las Vegas.
Just kidding.
The Greeks are going to get mad at us now.
Yeah, they're going to beat us up.
So Las Vegas has a partnership with LAFC, clearly, where they funnel players into the LAFC first team. And they act as like a third-party academy. But Las Vegas is actually set to be the 30th and final MLS team. So starting next year in 2023 season, Las Vegas Lights are going to be an MLS team. Daron Iskandarian is going to be their number 10. Very interesting thing. So at 20, I think, I mean, look, we'll see. Their season starts today in the USL, which is the American Second Division. I
want to see how they line up for this season.
I think, and we'll have an opportunity to see him play a lot, which is going to be nice, because we can find USL highlights. Those will be easy to find.
Good.
He's a Football Kentron feature star for a reason. So let's leave it at that. Here, speaking of necks of the woods, Chadens, your neck of the woods, Cyprus. What's going on there?
Well, Hovo, who's gonna play in 9 minutes, he scored against Aboel in the Cypriot Domestic Cup in the quarterfinals. This is the first leg. They're aiming to retain the title from last season. The second leg, I believe, is in 2 weeks or next week, if I'm not mistaken. The playoff, they lost a couple of games against Aboel. They also lost the first leg, but hopefully they'll be back to their good form that they were building on.
Hovo's case is kind of ironic because the team Anorthosis has dropped when it comes to level, but he himself, Hovo, individually is insane, when it comes to form and stuff. I mean, he keeps it up. The team doesn't, but he's keeping it up. And he actually even extended his contract into 2024, which a 2-year contract extension at Hovo's age, which is 31 years old for a fullback, is a clear sign of A, appreciation, B, I don't know, that he's going to be used, he's going to be played. He is actually, in my opinion, turning into kind of an Orthosi legend.
Yeah, he's been doing great. Hopefully,
that was big.
Yeah, no, and we're happy he's there. I can see him contributing to the national team for a few more years until the torch is passed on to other players. But
he should actually. I'm just throwing this out there, as I usually do. He should be like the FFA has ambassadors all over in every continent. He should be an FFA ambassador to Cyprus and get Armenians, instead of going to Kazakhstan, to going to Cyprus. And from there
the European area should just divide themselves, and it'll be easier for.
That would be that would be a good one.
That would make more sense.
That would make more sense, yeah. Just for Cyprus
that would be a good one.
Yeah, from all the Europe,
So FFA, there you have your idea. No need to credit us, just get it done.
All right, so now we're gonna get into a very special segment of our Armenians abroad, which is the Russian recap, since we have so many players that play in the country that no one likes anymore. Edward Spertian scores in the first game of the year back for Krasnodar, and he actually scored again on a very nice free kick, I think like a couple minutes right before we started recording this episode. So despite the mass exodus of foreign players out of Krasnodar, interestingly, not out of a lot of other clubs like Spartak Moscow, who they're currently playing right now as we record, who still have all their foreign players. Yeah. Rostov kept all their foreign players, but for some reason Krasnodar lost all theirs. But it hasn't really affected Spertian. If anything, it's just allowed him to highlight his abilities even more. Now scoring 2 goals in 2 games. He is. He definitely is. Khorem Bayramian is out of form, but he is recovering from an injury and finally back in training. Similarly, David Davidyan is out of form, but also recovering from an injury and is back in training with his club side Khimki. And Armen, I'll let you take this one because I have no idea who this is.
Well, to be honest, until a few weeks ago, neither did I. I've heard about this kid here and there, rumors mostly, but until something materializes, especially when it comes to young footballers, you want to get things with a grain of salt because not everyone goes pro. That's not the case, luckily, for 18-year-old Alexander Kovalenko, who is a midfielder, Armenian from his mom's side. Despite the name doesn't suggest, he made his Russian Premier League debut for Krylia Sovetov last week, I believe, and he's been playing ever since. Of course, off the bench. But he is 19 years old. He's 19 years old, which is insane. Playing for a team that is actually doing pretty well in the Russian Premier League. Krylia Sovetov is actually where two great fullbacks at the Armenian Premier League play. I'm talking about Serop Grigorian and Robert Arpinian. So it's a club that clearly has some Armenian ties and many Armenians at their academy. This may just be Alexander Kovalenko, one of the best exponents of that. He is a proud Armenian, actually, as Challenge very well showed us with some great content from his social media. Shout out, Alex. Great work. Keep it up. Thing is, considering the attention he's been getting in Russian media and Russian football media, of course, which we have been monitoring in a way, I don't know if sadly, because nothing is set on stone, of course, but I think it's going to be pretty hard to snatch him away from the Russian national team and into ours. Yes, the Russian national teams and federation overall in competitions are not FIFA or UEFA sanctioned officially currently, but they'll be back in everything, I'd say sooner rather than later, 1 or 2 years at most. And he's so young that the current ban on Russian football overall, I don't think it's really going to change much for him, and considering the potential this kid has.
Yeah, the ban's going to be. I don't want to say short term because we don't know what the length of it is. It's going to be, but it's not going to be forever. So
yeah, ultimately he is a proud Armenian, but at the same time he's a Russian citizen. So maybe I would say let him do his thing, and we will talk when he turns in 5 years' time when he's 23.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the Russian second division, where we have other Armenians that want to play for Armenia, but that are not currently playing for Armenia. You see this continuing this theme over here. 23-year-old striker Artem Galajian, who I mistakenly pointed out earlier in this episode, made his debut
now this is him.
and scores on a 55-minute display for Tomsk. He's clearly way too good for the Russian second tier, but much like other Armenian players in the Russian diaspora, like Artem Simonian, Hambartumian, Avanesyan, they're playing or expressing the desire to play for Armenia while being Russian-born is a no-no. So we'll see what happens. What was that? Same goes for 22-year-old striker.
I think that was the melody for a no-no.
A no-no? Yeah, maybe.
That's just thick.
We have another similar story here. Gevorg Sarkisyan made his debut and scored 2 goals over 130 minutes over 2 games for Veles Moscow, where Artur Galoyan also started with them at number 10, forming a 10-9 Armenian partnership, both of which have been linked to the Armenian national team. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a picture sometime this week of them holding an Armenian scarf? Was it?
Oh, there is.
Or was it a flag? I don't remember.
A scarf.
I think it was a scarf, yeah.
With an Armenian fan of Veles Moscow.
Yeah. So Galoyan, on the other hand, has 9 goals and several assists over 2,100 minutes played in the FNL. Both of them have a goal or an assist contribution per 90. So, again, kind of same old story here. Young Russian Armenians, super talented, want to play for Armenia, but can't. Sad story. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to conclude it for our Armenians Abroad segment. But our next piece of news is something that you probably have heard of this past week. Henrikh Mkhitaryan officially announced his retirement from the Armenian national team, releasing a public statement and said that after the Germany game, he had given his all and he is tired and he wants to focus on his family and his club career moving forward. He retires from the international scene as Armenia's all-time leading goal scorer with 32 goals scored, and he is the second most capped player with 95 caps, only behind Sargis Hovsepian, who ended his career on 133 caps. And he is the player with the most Armenian Player of the Year of 10 times. That record's probably not going to get broken anytime soon. The FFA intends to organize a homage farewell game, but that may come around the time that he retires from his club career altogether, which he's not doing. He made very clear. In fact, there's actually an active battle of who is going to get his signature because he has indicated that he will not be renewing with Roma and that he is looking to go elsewhere. Initially, it was thought that he would go to Russia, but because of all the things that are going around, staying in Italy with one of the Milan clubs or going to France seems like his likely destination. We've already spoken at length about this on our Twitter and Spaces. If you don't follow us already, why? So we can just conclude this by saying thank you, Henrikh, for everything that you've done for Armenian football. We always, take all of the goals and all the memories that you've made and that you've brought to us, and we're very, how can I put this? We are very grateful.
No need to get emotional.
Had you. Yeah, sorry, I'm crying on the inside. International retirement isn't fully retirement. I think the day that I think he fully retires from football, we're gonna feel that a lot more because of what he has done for the growth of Armenian football. But he is, I would say, the model example of what a professional should be. And I hope that we have 1,000 more Henrikh Mkhitaryan in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's the idea. Well said. Well put. Nice, Adam.
Thank you. Well, this is the segment everyone has been waiting for. Oh, this is going to be a doozy. All right. Armenian National Team manager Joaquin Capparos has announced the national team squad for the friendly camp this month against Montenegro and Norway. We are going to handle this how we always do, which is break down the squad segment by parts of the pitch, and then we will go ahead and have a small discussion on each portion of the squad.
It's
and
never
then have
small
a discussion. It's never, yeah. And then have a discussion about the squad as a whole and what we would like to see and expect to see against Montenegro and Norway. And so, yeah, let's get started, gentlemen. Chadens, goalkeeping picks. Who do we got?
Goalkeepers: David Yurchenko of Punic, Henry Avakian of Noravank, Arman Nersesyan of Bukma. That's kind of annoying how we say it, by the way. After 30-something episodes, 38 episodes, we're still saying it like that. Anyway, Buchnev, not confirmed by FFA, though. Punic is saying that he was.
Yeah, it was a little weird one. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there. So, okay. We got what we wanted in one sense, and we definitely didn't get what we wanted in another sense. We were hoping to use this time, or that the national team would use this time to try out other clearly good goalkeepers that we have domestically, such as our very good friend that plays in between the sticks at FC Noah, Matevosyan. But instead, we got Henry Avagyan from Noravank, which is extremely baffling to me because they're like near bottom of the table. That guy has only played 4 games.
26 years old.
He's only played 4 games in the past year.
He's not even young.
It does not. It just like it doesn't. My brain is having a hard time processing how this guy's
those
here.
Those pauses, and that difficulty to enunciate explains everything we need to explain about the goalkeeping selection.
In terms of merit, I mean, there is no merit in calling
Not at all.
There is no merit in calling Bushinev because he has been left
Not
bench,
at all. Even less.
Since Yurchenko moved to Punic. Yurchenko's been playing every game, and he's of course been much better than Bushinev is. So the Yurchenko one makes sense. I fully expect him to be there, as he should be.
And he's after Berezovsky is the Armenian goalkeeper that has played at the best level for the longest amount of time. So it makes sense as long as he's playing.
Yeah, exactly. As long as he's playing consistently, which he wasn't that long ago at Alashkert,
even
but he
not
is
consistently. Now. Yeah, until he retires, he will always have something to add to when it comes to experience to a national team locker room. Not necessarily means that he has to play. I would even call him with as you said, Aram Mateosyan and another young goalkeeper, like it could be Narcisian's case or Felix when he is fully fit again, and play the young ones, but keep Yurchenko around to give counsel and experience and all of that. It would make sense, but
So for those who don't know, Arman Nersesyan is the Armenian national under-21 national team goalkeeper. He is one that he's good. We like him. I think a great positive of having Nersesyan in this squad is that Nersesyan consistently plays every single game for Bekma in the Premier League. So he's not out of practice. He's constantly playing, which is great. He is a goalkeeper for the future that we highly rate. And I hope, because he's being taken away from Armenia under 21 European qualifying matches, I hope he actually plays one of the games, or else this is a complete waste to bring him, because you're pulling him from the under 21 national team the same week that they have matches.
Yeah, and this conundrum, if you will happen not only with Narcisian, and in fact, I would say that from the young national team players called to the senior national team and taken away from their youth national team respectively, Narcisian's case is maybe the least harmful one for the youth national teams, because they're only playing the U21 is only playing one game. And it's going to be a pretty tough game, so not much difference to have him there. Hopefully he can play, but maybe I'm pessimistic with this, but I'm not counting on him to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Capparos does there. In defense, Challenge, who do we have called up?
All right, so defenders. We have Varasat Haroyan from FC Cadiz, Spain. Andre Chalisir, Silkeborg, Denmark. Hovannes Ampartsumyan, Anorthosis, Cyprus. Kamo Hovanesyan from FC Astana, Kazakhstan. Girard Margarian from Ukraine, FC Veres. That's having a little bit of issues, but we won't get into that. Arman Hovanesyan, Punic. David Derderian from FC Ararat, Armenia. And Stjopa Mkhitaryan from Bekma.
Yes. Okay. So this list of defenders is pretty much what we thought it would be, all except the surprise addition of Mkhitaryan, who we didn't anticipate, similar to the other Bekma players that are on the list. Kamo, again, listed as a defender. I don't know how many times we have to go over this, so I'm not going to go over it again because I'm just annoyed about talking about it. I look forward to the day where people don't use him anymore. Other than that, what are your thoughts on the defensive side of the squad?
I mean, good, bad, a lot. Bato Arroyan from Cadiz, Spain. Our captain, of course, he is way out of form under the new coach in Cadiz. He's probably going to move out. So, yeah, he needs the form. I would say he's going to play both games, full 90 both games, because as we were discussing over the group chat, it actually looks as if there's more time between national team windows. It's going to be less than 2 months between this one friendly window and UEFA Nations League kickoff. You know that. So 2 full games at the national team stage will keep him warm enough to be not completely out of form for the Nations League. The completely opposite case when it comes to form and fitness is going to be Andre Chalashers, who is playing it first and foremost every game for Silkeborg in Denmark, and he is not someone who is entirely fit. He is very much injury prone, which is why I would have said keep him out of this friendly window. He is one of our starters along with Vato, clearly, by far. But you don't want to overplay him. And he's going through championship round on his club career. He is playing a lot. He is playing at the best level he can. It's not like he's gonna save himself from the club level to play at the national team friendly. So that one makes sense from one standpoint, but from a practical point of view, in my opinion, it doesn't. Third center back is Stiopa, and more than welcome, in my opinion. I really, really like this kid. He is super young, and he's already, of course, captain of the U19 national team that made elite round. He is a standout at every team he's playing. At Bukma, he's one of the captains, not the captain, he's vice captain, but he's also a starter and a standout. His leadership skills are insane. His actual technical skills are pretty good at 18 years old, and physically he's a beast. So I hope actually he plays over Andre Chalashers.
Considering, like you said, that there's 3 center backs on this team, on this squad list, and Haroyan is out of form, Chalashers can't play that many games, I would expect Mkhitaryan to play a full 90 somewhere here. He must be, or else it doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense to play Haroyan and Chalashers full at 180. He doesn't even do that in competitive games. He never plays them back to back competitive games. So I fully expect
he plays another center back, which we're not gonna get into.
Yeah, he who must not be named. So hopefully we see a good amount of minutes, and if he does well enough, I hope he gets called up for June. It would be a huge boost.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I forgot. I was gonna bring him up. Bring them up. Noah has 2 center backs, 2 Armenian center backs, relatively young, both of them, and Capparos called neither. We're of course talking about Artur Kardashian, who's 25 years old, a beast in the center back position, but he, as we mentioned today, has been playing out of position as a left back, which doesn't make sense, but that's another issue. So Artur Kardashian being left out kind of makes sense, if you will. But then there's Henrikh Mkhitaryan, 22 years old, same height, actually center mid. So yeah, he's also, or defensive mid. He's also being played out of position, but he's playing center back A, and he is shining at center back B.
He is, but he's not. He would look better if the team was actually playing better, but the team is not playing better. So
yeah, that's a kind of a fair point. But if you're Capparos, you should, or any national team coach as good as we know Cap is, you should know better. And he actually, you brought an interesting point, which can connect very well with Hovhannes Sampatsoumian's case, who, as I mentioned a little earlier, his team is basically sucking right now. Although they are in a pretty good position, they're falling behind and big time. They're losing and losing and losing.
But also Mkhitaryan has only played a few games for Noah. I don't think he should have gotten called. I think it was the right call. I'm gonna be honest. We need to see a little more from him. He wasn't even playing for a long time. I mean, he was without. No,
he was playing in Belarus. Of course, it's a different level now, but even then, the change in level, in pace, and everything didn't seem to affect him. Quite the contrary. He said, and we noticed that he was a little unfit, and we were worried about how he was gonna perform when it comes to fitness in the APL.
I don't think it would have been fair to call him up, considering he
after 3 games. Yeah,
I don't think so. Same with Gevorg Najayan. As much as I want to see him, it was not. It was
way different. I wouldn't have called Gevorg Najayan, of course, because he barely made his debut off the bench last week. But Mkhitaryan is a different deal. I mean, he's been playing. He's been starting for Noah, and he's doing basically one of their best field players, if not the best, out of position on his rookie year at the APL. I think he would have been a great addition to the national team. I'm not saying start him, because of course there's other factors who are gonna weigh in, like form, fitness, stamina. You don't want to underplay him. You don't want to overplay him. But he's also versatile. He can play center back. He can play defensive mid. And that's vital.
I think if he plays as a defensive midfielder for Noah, I think we will see his quality, and I think he will get called up. But again, I don't rate the coaching at Noah. I think they're very bad, personally, I think as long as his club isn't performing well, he's not going to get called up. Kardashian's not going to get called up. Jordi Ararat's not going to get called up, and as we saw and as we know, Matevosyan not going to get called up.
Okay, but why not keep that same argument for Hovhannes Sampatsoumian's case?
But Sampatsoumian's playing at a arguably, as you would say, higher level.
Yeah, on the one hand, and on the other hand, you could say he's a national team staple, so that would be the argument.
He's also scoring and assisting every single game.
Yeah, that would be like the different thing. But again, it's a different position. You don't see center backs.
Fullback, yeah.
Exactly, and no, I think we would have really needed Mkhitaryan at bench even, because.
Again, I just don't see the merit in calling him. I just don't. I don't see it. I don't think he deserves it.
Let's agree to disagree then. Yeah, because I do see some merit. But let's talk fullbacks now that we're talking about Hovo. We have went over Hovo and Camo, and you know what's going on with Zhiro Mkhitaryan in Ukraine.
He's left Ukraine, but he might be back in Armenia now. I haven't seen anything on social media, so I don't know.
I think there was this FIFA ruling that foreign players from Ukraine were allowed to find new clubs.
Yeah,
kind of like what happened to Krasnodar foreigners.
Yeah, they all their contracts, unless they agree with the club, are considered null. So technically, any foreigner in the Russian and Ukrainian leagues can sign with any club that they want as a free agent, so long as they agree with their clubs that they can leave. That's it. Or that they would stay, rather than they can leave, rather than they can stay. Yeah.
Under regular circumstances, before the violence and stuff broke out, it was already a weird move and not good kind of move for him. He was, I would say, way better than the UPL. He should have gone to a top 20 or top 15 league.
Yeah.
Maybe here's his chance.
Alternatively, we have Arman Hovhannesyan and David Terterian, Punic and Ararat fullbacks, both playing regularly, both doing well. So I see the merit in calling them from the domestic league. Chadens.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at this and we have we have 3 right backs, 2 left backs, and 3 center backs. Why?
Technically speaking,
Actually, Derderian can play both wings.
Yeah, he can.
Of the fullback. Yeah.
You know what I've realized also? We talk a lot about the versatility of players, right? And that's something that is something that we feel that the team needs, and that's something that we take into consideration when we talk about who we're selecting for our team or who we would like to see play for the national team. But I realized now that Cap doesn't think that way. He never plays players out of position. We always say, "Oh,
no,
Jordy."
I think he does.
He doesn't. He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Depends on preference of the coach.
Bro,
he doesn't play people out of position.
He played Spezia out of position several times in different positions. Same with Heno. It happens.
Yeah, but there's a context to the out of position. And there's a context to playing another position.
What do you mean?
Exactly. So, like, what he means is, like, for example, Spezia, you're playing him deeper for a tactical reason. He has played central midfield for club, and also he's a young player. He doesn't really have a defined position yet. Henrikh has always been an issue where he's going to play in the national team. So I would throw that argument out the window. But in terms of, like, let's say, for example, I think here's a good one. Jordi Ararat. We talk about him. He's a right back, and he's also a central defender. We talk about how instead of playing Daron Voskanian at center back, we had him just sitting there. And we know how capable he is, and he's much, much better on the ball than Voskanian will ever be in his career, times 1,000,000.
Well, yeah, but Daron is not gonna, unless he's injured, like it's the case right now, he's not gonna be missing from the national team. I mean,
another reason why I hope Mkhitaryan completely outshines him, scores a couple of header goals from corners, and cements his spot as a rotational center back.
I mean, well, then again, that argument won't change much, in my opinion, if we're basing off on previous experience, because one name we throw out a lot is Artur Kardashian, and he's got 1 game for the national team and 1 goal for the national team from a header.
That's true.
Actually. And he was never called up again.
All right. Well,
don't change.
Let's move on to the midfield. In midfield, in central midfield, we have Artak Grigoryan from Alashkert, Solomon Uro from Armenia, Eric Vardanian from Urartu, Hovhannes Harutyunyan from Punic. Let's start with the central midfielders, and then we'll move on to the attacking midfielders. Chadens. Artak Grigoryan is old now. He he really showed signs of slowing down in the tail end of our World Cup qualifiers, and he showed that he's not able to keep up with the pace anymore. How do you rate him being called up?
Well, him being called up in the friendlies shows that Joaquin Capparos is planning on using him for the Nations League.
Oh, that's the answer I didn't want. I was hoping not to hear.
Well, we gotta say it. I mean,
yeah,
I'm looking at it from his point of view as well.
I mean, this whole list is about some of the players he intends to use for the Nations League.
No, for sure, all of them. I guess, I don't know. For sure, 80%. I mean, we don't know what's going inside a coach's mind. We don't know what system, what he likes, what he doesn't like. I mean, you can see common trends in the way they use players, but Artak Grigoryan being called up shows that he might be using him for the Nations League. I don't know how many players they're allowed to call up for that one. So statistically speaking, logically, there's going to be space for him.
Damn it.
When it comes to the central mids, this is a big issue, because when it comes to central mids, once again, as you said, Challenge, there are trends. and a noticeable one is that on this friendly window, as well as basically last semester out, there is only one defensive-minded defensive mid, which is Atak, who is 34 years old, who is playing 90 minutes every game for Alashkert, week in, week out, who is tired, as you said, and he's the only one that's defensive. Then you got your Udo, you got your Vartanyan, and you got your Harutyunyan. All three of them are, yes, younger, yes, I don't know, more informed and fitter, but they're ball playing midfielders. They're ball playing central midfielders. They're not defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
And this is my no-no, maybe, I don't know, maybe coach doesn't intend to work on the defensive game plan, so that, and I'm just theorizing, hypothesis and conspiracy theorists here, but maybe he doesn't intend to work on defensive game plan so that he doesn't give Ireland, Scotland, and Ukraine, our Nations League opposition, any ideas on how to play us. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I mean,
yeah. But if you're looking at experience on competitive windows, last semester out, it was the exact same thing. It was only one defensive mid who was completely overplayed, which was, of course, Artak Grigoryan. He was already old, and nothing has changed when it comes to age over one semester. He's still old, even older. He's still playing the same amount of time at club level. Of course, it's not going to be fit for the national team. And I'm not holding my breath for what I'm going to see in that aspect.
And again, talking about, like you said, Grigoryan is the only defensive midfield option here, which I think is like borderline stupid. It's not borderline. It is stupid to call only one defensive midfielder that's 35 years old. Henrikh Vardanyan, I don't see the merit in calling him. There is no merit. No, Armin, he's played 20 minutes off the bench in the last 4 games. That's all he's done.
Yeah. But he was an off tune at the national team last semester out.
But again, there are other midfielders that are so much more qualified and more deserving than he is right now. I'm not saying he's not that. I see his talent. I totally see what Cap's trying to do. I totally get it. But he has Hovhannes Harutyunyan in the squad, who arguably is going to fill that role. He's going to try him out in that role that he tried Vardanyan in. And I'm pretty sure, considering his success in central midfield for Punic this season and the great form he's in, I think he can do the job. But again, instead of bringing in Henrikh Vardanyan, who does not deserve to be here, bring in a defensive midfielder that we need, that we can try out.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been one possibility, one alternative, but that's not the case. And there are, much like Vartanyan, Udo and Harutyunyan are the same characteristics. So I don't even know if Harutyunyan is gonna play over 30 minutes overall. And considering the amount of unreasonable and unexplainable decisions Cap has made this time out, I think Vartanyan's choice has a couple more bases into it. Not saying I disagree. Not saying he should be there. I also think he shouldn't be there. But I think there are several worse cases than Eero Vartanyan. Not that he's going to play much anyway, though.
Now, we'll see. In attacking midfield, we have Georg Ghazaryan of Punic, Artem Avanesyan of Armenia, Artur Seropyan of Bekma, Khorem Bayramyan of Rostov, Eduard Spertyan from Krasnodar, Vahan Bichakyan of Pogon Shezhin, and Luka Zarayan of the Columbus Crew. This is another one. Okay, so a lot of these players are staple players, right, Chadins? We have seen Ghazaryan has been in the squad a lot. Avanesyan's been in the squad regularly. Bayramyan, Spertyan, Bichakyan, Lucas. The only one that is, of course, not here is Henrikh Mkhitaryan because he has retired, and his spot for this time has been given to 18-year-old Artur Seropyan, who is a attacking midfielder / winger.
He's so good.
And he is good.
Y'all in for a treat, man.
If he even plays, though. Again, this is the same thing. Yeah. Just like Stiopa, just like
wow, you just had to kill that.
It's true, though. I mean, look, knowing Cap, what he's going to do is he's going to start Ghazanian and Avanesyan and Bayramyan, and then for some reason, Vahan and Lucas are just going to be on the bench, and we're just going to be watching a totally out-of-form player.
No, I think at least Vahan and Lucas are going to start, at the very least. But yeah, he's completely capable of starting a completely out-of-form Henrikh Bayramyan or a super old and tired, with all due respect, Gevor Kazarian alongside Vahan and Lucas. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So it's again, it's like the thought process here is a little... It's questionable because again, Ghazanian, I get it. You know, you want a leader. You need leadership in the back and in the front. I understand that pick. I don't want to see him in the Nations League squad, but he's probably going to be there. Avanesyan, he's good.
I really like what I'm seeing. No, I actually would say Avanesyan's call-up was one of the best ones because I didn't expect him to be there, and he is.
But he's always there. He has been there, though. I think he's been in every squad. And, like, I'm not saying in terms of club-wise, he's doing great, you know? But I still am yet to be convinced at the national team level.
Bro, he's only played 15 minutes per game.
I know.
He's played good. Even against Germany, I think it was. I don't know, but every time I've seen him, much like Narek Grigorian, 15 minutes, both of them, and 15 minutes were good enough. That neither of them looked off tune, which is why I actually would have thought Narek would have been there instead of Avanesyan, that hasn't left the APL.
I think it was going to be either Narek or Seropyan. It was going to be one of them, and I think he went with Seropyan this time. Foren Bayramyan, weird call up because the guy hasn't played a single minute in a while.
And he's 30. He's not getting younger. And
for
bro, for the type of player that Henrikh is, he relies basically on speed, stamina, and I don't know if that's the word, elasticity, kind of flexibility. You know, the ability to dribble, to I don't know the English word for it, but to kind of
he's not fast, but he's more of a technical dribbler.
Oh, he's fast. He's fast.
Fast, man.
Among other things, it's fast. Of course, it's not Camo fast, but he is fast. And for that kind of player, there's a way shorter productivity gap of years. He's reaching that. He's injured currently. One of those cases, I definitely would have thought should have been left out.
Now, let me pose this question to you, Chadens. Out of this attacking midfield, we know that Capparos is going to play most likely a two-striker, two attacking midfield, some sort of combination. Out of these attacking midfielders that you have here, who would you, if you had to pick two players to start, who would you start?
Easily Zelarayan is one,
and
Vahan.
Oh,
Vahan as well. I mean, we need to see more Vahan, not just to be sure that. Not just to be sure. I mean, he didn't really. We have not seen enough of him and his quality for the national team, and we know there is a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
Him along with Lucas would be something that we're definitely looking forward to seeing for the Nations League. Therefore, in this friendly, it's needed to try and see.
Now, here's another question I have for you. If we
interrogation.
If we play only one striker, it being Adamyan, so let's say Barseghian is on the bench. who else would you start in attacking midfield? Would you make Spertian that third player, or would you bring in another player?
In my mind, we're playing 4-2-3-1, right?
Uh-huh. So who would be the three, and the one is going to be Sako. So who would be that attacking midfield three you would play?
Look, I don't think he will start. He will not start Spertian.
That's crazy to me to not start Spertian.
He will either not start Spertian or Bicakcan or Zelar. All three of them, he will not start them together. It's a little
too much. That's
Bear in mind, last time out, Zelarayán played 4-9.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple times actually, last couple windows. On one game he was dropped as a kind of free roaming center mid. On another game he was a 4-9. And I think the best of him was seen as 4-9. The combinations he made with Sako were great, and I don't think it's gonna be kind of like a stable, like a set on stone kind of tactic. It never has been lately.
What do you think, Aaron?
That's the thing. That's what I want to see, a stable set in stone tactic. I think personally.
I want a lot of things.
Personally, yeah, me too. Personally, I think there is. You can't. Okay, considering Edouard's form, Vahan's form, Lucas's form, you can't. How are you going to drop these people? Like, how do you drop these three people? Like, how? You have to play them. You can't not bench. You can't bench one of these three players in the form that they're in right now. And the form that Sako is in right now, you need to start him. So, I don't know. I'm just hoping I see that. If I see those four in our starting attack in one game, that's enough for me to be happy from this window, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird call-up because it has been lately weird because as I said, nothing is set on stone. Players have been interchanging their positions. Everything gets mixed up, And one problem that I see with the national team lately is that we don't have we're not defending. We're not defending. And that's a big problem, and I think that's why we haven't been getting results lately.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. When you bring up only one defensive midfielder, I don't expect you to defend. Moving on to further up the pitch in our attacking line, we have two players, Tirlan Barsegan of Slovan Bratislava and Sargis Adamian of Hoffenheim on loan to Club Brugge in Belgium. Again, like this attacking midfield, attack forward, it's become interchangeable in the way that Armenia plays. So I hope and I expect to see both of them get minutes. But I'm looking forward to seeing how we line up and how we play in this post-Henrikh Armenia. So
it's too much to drop because it's like 180 minutes only that we're gonna see. So
nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Don't expect anything major.
Yeah, it's a friendly window too. It's not.
And it's a weird call
up. It's a time to try, but it's only 180 minutes to try. So it's kind of packed.
Yeah, so nothing is gonna be definitive after this. It's not like what happens here now stays for the next few seasons. No, it's not gonna be like that.
Yeah, like you said, Armin, it seems like this squad it's a weird one, but like you said, I think he's focusing on a very certain aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And from the looks of the squad, it looks like he's going to use this time to figure out what the attack of Armenia is going to look like. That's what I'm.
I kind of thought that too, because he's clearly not focusing on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. And hell, bro, he might even try. He will definitely try stuff out during the actual competitive season, as he usually does.
And he will. So Armenia plays Montenegro on March 24th and Norway away on March 29th. We will be covering those matches, I think, in one post episode after both the games are done. We'll give our take and our analysis as I see Edo going down, clutching his ankle, which I don't like. I think he'll be fine. But elsewhere, we have a lot more Armenia going on right now. We actually have the U19s during the same week are going to be playing in the elite round against Portugal, England, and the Republic of Ireland. We're very
decimated U19.
Yeah. So we're very excited. We don't have any real expectations, but we'll just see what they can do.
Even less now that they have their two best players with the senior national team.
Yeah, exactly. Elsewhere, Armenia under-21 had a match scheduled on March 24th against Ukraine under-21 in the European Championship qualifiers. However, that match has been suspended. Of course, makes sense. So Armenia actually travel to Serbia on the 29th, which is the same day that the senior national team plays against Norway. So that is going to be wrapping it up for this episode of Football Kentron. Side note, LA Galaxy are hosting Armenian Heritage Night sometime in April. If you want to go support, they don't have an Armenian player, so I don't know, maybe it's a little incentive for them to sign one. They sure need it from what I saw yesterday.
Bring Armenian flags and make sure to let them know they should sign Armenian players for them. Hell,
so
I would say happened. What happened?
I think Edo scored again.
Oh my God, he's so good, man.
I think
he's so damn good.
Let me see, because it was a penalty, but I didn't see who took it. I'll tell you.
Probably.
Oh, it was him. Yeah, he scored it.
And of course. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Close it out with another. Oh, man, this kid. Oh, I love him. I love him so much, man.
He's the Messiah, man. Shit, that's crazy.
Anyway.
Bro, and it's about to end. It's about to finish that game.
That's the second Armenian to score a brace. It was a penalty. He got fouled in the box. He got tackled, and then he took the penalty, and it was a nice, easy slide in.
So there you go. Edo Spertian updating Armenians abroad. 2 games after the winter break, 3 goals, baby.
Like I said, how do you not start this kid? Well, that's going to be it for Football Kentron this time. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back after the national team window to give our thoughts on those games and look forward to everything that's going to be happening. It's going to be a very, 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 very busy next few months for Armenian football as the domestic leagues wrap up, as the European spaces begin to fill in, and as we look towards preparations for the UEFA Nations League in June. If you don't already, please follow us on social media. We're almost at 1,000 Twitter followers, so hit that follow button.
Share.
Please share our episodes.
Share so that you can keep updated with everything.
And yeah, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. Peace.